Hey you guys, it's Josie, the author of the Silver Fang Found series, and today I'm going to do my Q&A for the book. Part 1 of the Silver Fang series has been out for a while now, and I am still currently working on the second part of the book, which is going to be a mini story of the um, Silver Fang series, but it still like goes in with the plot and everything. So while I'm working on that, I'm going to do a little Q&A so you guys can know about me, my thoughts on the not my thoughts, but like my thought process of the book and how it came to be and everything and behind the scenes and all that. Feel free to write in the comments any questions that you may have. Um, I'll either say it in a video or I will message you and reply to you in the comments. So for this part of the video, I'm going to give you the origin story of how I came up with the Silver Fang series. So basically, as you guys may or may not know, for those who have followed me for a long time, I am a huge. First of all, I'm a bookworm. That's number one. I'm a bookworm, and I just love reading and all that. And so I really love paranormal books. That's my stuff. Paranormal and romance. Put them together. That's my ish. So, as I was reading a lot of paranormal books, specifically werewolf books, I was like, as I was reading like werewolf books and things like that, one thing came to mind was that most of them don't really have backstories of like what is a werewolf, like how did it come to be. I feel like there are a few books that talk about that a little bit, but as a person who was new to this paranormal type of world, this werewolf world, I was like, okay, we just supposed to accept that there's like these werewolves that's just chilling here, and then they have mates who are like human, and they're going around saying you're mine, I was just like, so we're just this is normal. Another thing too, and I said this before with the Paid Mother series, is that there was not a lot of diversity in these types of genres. And so when I think of werewolves, when I think of the way they live their lives, how they act and things like that, in my opinion, I think of black people. For example, like with werewolves, they're connected with nature. They love nature. They are one with nature. They're one with the moon. Black people, like that's what we are. That's what we do. That's what our ancestors have done. And so I think of like, okay, like that sounds, in my opinion, black. If I had to pick any type of like paranormal being, and if I had to put a race to it, like for example, if we had werewolves, mermaids, vampires, witches. I mean, we could be witches too, but witches, warlocks, trolls, whatever, all these paranormal things. If I had to pick a race, it would be werewolves. I feel like we connect closely to that. Another thing is that they live in packs, they live in groups, they live in tribes. Again, I mean, also too, Native Americans do that too. But yeah, again, when I think of tribes living in a pack, living in groups, ride and dying for each other, for their groups, for their clan, for their packs, I think of our ancestors. I think of black people, and the way that they're like just so in tune with their spirit, like their wolf side or whatever they call it in other books. Just like they say they're wolf, whatever. Like just the way they're in tune with that, believing in soulmates and just nature. I just since even discovering this type of genre, I always think of like this sounds like some black people stuff. Like I just, in my opinion, like black culture, black traditions, and things like that, black folklore and like folk tales and all that stuff. Like that's what I think. Um. So anyway, as me reading a lot of werewolf books and all that, I was like, you know what? I have yet to see not like an all black cast, if you will, all black characters for a paranormal book. I have yet to see that, and I've been on Webpack for a very long time. So I was like, you know what? Why not? So I will say that Silver Fang came, for those who've been around for a minute with me. Silver Fang came before the Paid Mother series. Um, And so here's the origin. Now I'm going to get to the origin story of the Silver Fang series. So, um, like I said, I wanted to be black. Um, the Silver Fang series has changed a lot compared to when I first wrote it. I don't remember the year I wrote it. Like I think I was like a freshman in high school, not high school, in college. So like 2015 is when I wrote when I started writing it. Yeah, around that time, and it came before the Pavement of the Stairs. Like that was the first, and I think that was my first book with the lead black female in it too. So this was before the Pavement of the Stairs. So this was my first book with the black female lead. Um, what else? So yeah, so when I wrote the Pavement of the Series, like I said, I was a freshman in college. I was still going through who I am as a writer, as a person, coming to terms of loving myself. I was going through that phase. I'm away from college and things like that. On my own, knowing about myself, my culture, loving myself, loving my skin and all that. Like I was just still in that earliest stage of discovering who I am because I am from a family of immigrants, and so like being American, coming from a family of immigrants, dealing with that, being in college away from home, going to a PWI school, predominantly white institution school. Not a lot of kids look like me. Not a lot of Caribbean kids or anything like none at all. Not even a Caribbean restaurant. Like just all of that, just internalized and a little self hate going there and all that. Like that was a very coming of age moment for me, like my freshman year. So when I first wrote the Silver Fang book, I had first of all what's the word? Okay, so the characters were all different. So I'm gonna go down the line of the characters. So characters. So the characters was the lead was the person who's playing Imani. Her name was actually Kiki, and I'm a big fan of Kiki Palmer. So Kiki Palmer was my lead role in the book. So there was Kiki, Benji still the same, and Benji he had 4 friends, and so his friends were Connor, Lewis, Josh, and Jay, and that's how it was. Jay was black, and then Connor and Lewis was white. I would say Silver Fang was closer to the Pavement of the series in terms of like Benji kind of acted like Max. Like Benji and Max were kind of the same. They were like very similar in a way. Connor, Lewis, Josh, and Jay, they were similar to Max's friends. Like they had the same vibe going on with like the brotherhood and all that. And majority of Benji's friends were white. So same concept. Mind you, Silver Fang came out before the Pavement of the series at the time when I was writing. And you can kind of tell like how the Pavement of the series kind of like in a way branched off and it became its own thing from the Silver Fang series, like the original. The only difference is there's no werewolves or whatever. Okay, so sorry about that. Okay, yeah. So how could I start this? So yeah, so when I first wrote the when I first wrote the Silver Fang series, well, Silver Fang Found. I'm gonna just say Found. So to say Silver Fang, that's like a mouthful right there. When I first wrote Found, there was no origin plot story. I was at the time. I said this before with the Pavement of the series of like how I came up with my writing and stuff like that. We can go over and check out that Q&A. But when I wrote Found, I was still in my awkward, like I said, awkward phase, personal stuff going on, and that reflected in my writing. So I was caught because my understanding of werewolves, even though I was thinking like, where's the black people? How come there are no black people in this and things like that? And I was like trying to write like, okay, I want my characters to be black and I want to be centered around black culture and things like that. When I was still like, so my inspiration, I should say, was from other Wattpad books because I'm like, everyone else is writing it this way, then I need to write it this way. So when I first wrote the Found, I was just mimicking what I saw. So there was no origin story. There was no like deep plot in terms of like where the werewolves came from, the packs and all that. I didn't go into details like I did, like as you see now with Found. But in the past, yeah, when it first came out, I didn't have no origin story. I didn't explain different packs and all that stuff. It was just like, here's the werewolves, and that was that. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the differences. So with the origin story, Benji's character, his role was originally was more like the older brother to Kiki, who is now Imani, but in the original, her name was Kiki. So hopefully you guys follow along with me. I feel like I am speaking fast, and I'm sorry for that. So yes, like I was saying, where's my mouse? Okay. It ends up moving. Okay. So yeah, like I was saying, Benji played the older brother role, although if you like the timeline of like how they were born and stuff, obviously Kiki, aka Imani, is first. She's the firstborn. But Benji played the older brother role because he's aware, like, because she's in this new world, this new, superhuman world that she never knew about. And so she's like a lost little lamb. And so because of that, that's how Benji ends up taking up the older brother role, like, hey, I got your back. It's okay. Welcome to our culture. Welcome to, like, this is your people and stuff like that. So as she was coming into terms with her own and her identity and all that, Benji was kind of like being her anchor for that. What else? In the original, Kiki, aka Imani, was more of a brat. She was like, I've seen the comments of what you guys say about Imani, how she could be annoying and dumb, I guess, like, just like, girl, get with the program, like, how could you not read between the lines, like that type of thing. I've seen the comments and I find them funny, and I have no problems with that. So yeah, she was actually worse than the original, and looking back, I hated her more than the original because I don't know why, like, I guess I feel like with her character, because she was angrier in the original story, way more angry. So after her mother died, a huge difference too is that Kiki in the original, she was at peace with her mother dying. She wasn't on this like, I need to know where my family is, I need to know where I belong in this world. She was like, me and my mom had a good run, I loved her, I already knew she was sick, her time has come, she passed, and I'm good. She was at peace with that. She took the the insurance money and things like that from her death and basically went on a trip. She I don't remember if she sold the house or not, but I just remembered that I wrote that, like, she basically, after instead of, unlike Found, in the original, the first chapter did not start at the funeral. It started at her graduation party. So her mom died before she graduated high school. And so right after high school, she left and just went to travel and things like that. And then she settled in North Carolina. That's when she settled there and was like, I'm going to go to school and, like, do my own thing or whatever. So that was the origin of that, like the first chapter, how it started. Yeah, so like I said, she was more of a brat. So when she discovered who her father was, one thing that's the same is how she discovered her father. Going to the club, meeting the werewolf hunters, almost getting killed, and then her father, who is the alpha, comes in, rescues everyone, saves her, and then they have this connection, and he's like, oh, Snappy, my daughter, and all that. So that origin is the same of how she met her father. The difference is, Imani, she was just like, heartbroken and just sad, like, oh my gosh, I found my father. Whereas Kiki was like, in her mind, she was like, you left us, because she grew up without her father. So she was like, you left us, I'm fine without you, fuck you, I don't want nothing to do with you. And Ben, Alpha, Amani's father, he wanted to get to know her. He was actually very sweet, very nice, very open, and trying to make a relationship with her. and Kiki was not into it. She didn't want nothing to do with the werewolves, nothing to do with the pack, nothing to do with building a relationship with anybody. She was very like, she was just always mad. And I feel like low key that reflected me, what I was going through with my personal things. So that's why I feel like, hey, I don't like Kiki. I'm happy I got rid of her. And also, why I wrote her that way, because I feel like she was a reflection of what I was going through during my time as a freshman in college. But yeah, so she was super angry, just like ugh, it was. She was like y'all would have been mad if I kept her. Like y'all would have been really pissed. Um. So yeah. Okay. So we talked about the lead girl. So in the friend group of Benji, like I said, Jay was the only black character. He played the playboy role of the group. And also what was different is Kiki had a protector. She had, okay, not a difference, because I mentioned in the Found series that, towards the end, Ariel, Imani's protector, who's also the protector of her mother in the past, like he comes, at the end of the story. So the difference is with the original, he was always there, not always there. He came in like towards the middle. So yeah, but his name was Will, and he was white. He was the protector. That's another difference. You see, I got a lot of white characters. You could tell what I was going through during that time, like what I was dealing with and stuff like that. Because it's just like I said, I wanted to be all black, but I only have literally the dad, the brother, and the daughter, Kiki, like 3 black characters, and then that's it. And if you want to count the friend Jay, which was Benji's friend, but he was barely, when I wrote him, he was barely in there. He only showed up for different, when they're in group settings. He wasn't like by himself. So you could tell I was going through some stuff, because the origin story, what it is now, is like, oof. So anyway, okay, so yeah, Will, which was her protector, he was mysterious, always in the back. He would just pop in and out, saving Kiki when he needs to. And what else? Okay, so that's that for the characters. Okay. I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry. I miss you guys so much. Like I'm still writing. I haven't been like, it's not like I'm writing in terms of like, oh, I got 10 chapters. No, I got 3 chapters for the next series. I'm poking in and out. It's hard when like you're stressed with your day to day, and then you want to write, and then you could be like, okay, I got 1 hour, whatever, I want to write. Because writing for me is a form of release, like stress relief for me. So I'm like, okay, I want to write. But to get into the mood of writing, that takes a minute. Sometimes an hour, like I have to have a certain music. Either I'm watching something or I'm reading. I need to get inspiration, and it just takes me a moment to like actually tap into the world that I'm trying to create with my books. So that's been the biggest issue. Hopefully this summer, my goal is, besides like my own personal goals with school and everything and work, here on this website, Webpad, my goal is to, by the end of the summer, release the, what did I call it? The Living Like Royalty, Silver Fang Living Like Royalty, part 2. Kind of part 2, but not really part 2. It's more like, like I said, it's if you read the thing, it's a short story. It's gonna be short stories. You're gonna have every character. Each chapter is gonna have every character, so you can get their point of view and things like that. But even though it's a short story, it's still important, because it's gonna like take off following part 2 of the series, which is I'm not gonna say it yet. I already have the name for it, but I don't know if I want to say it yet. Maybe in another video I'll say it. Okay. Where are we? Okay, so the origin of Benji and Olivia relationship. Okay. Yeah, I didn't. So, okay, I said Benji, but I meant Ben as in the father, the alpha. They have the same name because, the alpha, his name is Benjamin. He's a son, Benjamin Jr. They call him Benji for short. So, and then the alpha, although his full name is Benjamin, people call him Ben. So, hopefully I can follow with that. So, Ben is the daddy. Benji is the son. Okay, so for Ben and Olivia's relationship, first of all, Olivia was not her name in the original. Don't remember her name. I erased it. Don't remember some basic white girl name. As you can see, that I pick when I have a white girl character, basic white name. You know, Kate, Kaylee, all that, just basic Betty. Okay. I'm not gonna say nothing else to that. Let's see. So Benji was not the best father, but he did try to make things up. Yeah, okay, I already mentioned that. So Ben was not the best father, but he did try to, form a bond and a relationship with Kiki, and Kiki was not here for it. She was like, "You left me." She was having this like very like strong, "I don't need nobody" type of attitude that does not want to be vulnerable at all. And obviously, it's just been clear to day one that Ben did not love Olivia. He never did. Stayed with her because of his son, and that's their relationship. So now Eric, I keep thinking to myself, is Eric? Oh, is like in the new one, but anyway, Eric's still the same. Eric is still the same. In the original, I put him as the love interest. That was him in the original. He had a very good bond with Kiki, aka Imani. And they were like super close, best friends. I also put that he was actually a part of the Silver Fang pack. No one knew that, he was cool with Kiki. No one knew, that's Imani, follow me. I'm talking about the original story. Sorry, speaking fast. Okay, so yeah, so no one knew that he was part of the Silver Fang pack. No one knew that he was a hunter, and obviously in this the Found series, in this one, people found out later. But yeah, so no one knew that he was a hunter, that he was human. Oh, so yeah, in the original, I didn't put him as a wolf. He didn't have a wolf at all. He was just a human hunter, and that he was part of the pack. So no one knew about that. I don't remember how I made that work, but that was basically his little synopsis thing, character development thing, and he was a love interest. That's it for. And also too, he helped Kiki find her father. He was the reason that Kiki was able to meet Alpha, aka Ben. So that was his origin story. Okay. In the next video, I'm gonna talk about now that I'm done with the origin story. The origin story. Yes. Actually, I did finish it. I'm trying to remember, did I finish halfway and then quit it and then like put it to where it is now? So the origin story, I did finish it. I can share. Yeah, I didn't write it in my notes. Okay. So in the origin story, Kiki. Yes, that is the origin story. Sorry. My mind is like old, new. Okay. So in the origin story, Kiki spends like, at least in the last, like the season finale, if you want to call it, like the ending of the story, she has a few more days. Like I wrote, like she had a few more days with her grandfather. Like she spent time with him, and also the grandfather had spent a few more days in North Carolina with the Silver Fang pack. He was there for a lot longer before the day of the ball. The ball thing was original in the story. Yeah, so when he does show Will, who I talked about was her protector in the origin story, he worked for the royal family. And so trying to see like what about this says it's giving away for other stuff that I'm writing, or if this is like something I scratched out completely. Okay. Anyway, whatever. Okay, sorry. Okay, so anyway, yeah. So he was her protector. He worked for the Will worked for the royal family, and that was that. And he, like I said, it was mysterious and things like that. But yeah, so anyway, the king came in a lot earlier in the story compared to the new one, the found version. He came in a lot later. He came in like with the last 3-4 chapters of the book. When the origin story, he came in way in before. He spent time with them and things like that, just a little bit. And even when she found out that he was her grandfather, like I had a follow up after that. But obviously, like in the next book, you're gonna see how that plays out because it's already been revealed that like that's her grandfather. So obviously, in the next book, I'm gonna like talk about that more. Anything else that I'm leaving out? Okay, that's for the new story. I think that's it. There was not a lot for the origin story in terms of like very specific things that are like super different from what it is now. The only thing I can say is that it was not as black as it is now, and I'm just so happy. Like I just like you guys. I mean, y'all can't really. I don't know if y'all can see if y'all were here from the beginning. If y'all were here before I changed it, because when I was writing the Payment of the series, I was saying my next book of what I'm gonna do is because I said that I was going back to some of my old books and I'm gonna gut that shit out. I'm gonna tune it up, destroy it, blow it up, and create new because I changed as a person. I've been on this site since I was in high school, and I'm 25 right now. So like years have passed since I've been in high school. So my mind frame is not the same anymore. My writing's not the same anymore. So so that's why I said I'm going back to my old stories because I feel like the plot is still there. Like there's still a purpose. And I want to go back, and now that I'm older and have more creativity and things like that, and I could do more research and more access to things, I can make the story better, just like I did with Silver Fang. Like I'm so proud of myself right now, and I'm so happy you guys enjoy it. Because when I go back to like, I deleted it all, like the original story and all that, but when I was working on it and stuff and uploading chapters and all that, I will erase old chapters. Like I would read it and then erase it and I'm like, oh Lord, like what was I thinking? Like you could tell I was going through some things. Like it was just it just was not the best side of me. But I am grateful because I have learned. And I'm just like excited. I know you guys are excited, but I'm just so excited to see with this book, with this series, where this would take me. I am making it a 3-part series. With of course with the mini storyline in between, but yeah, I'm just really loving the work and effort that I put into it, and I'm just so happy that you guys are enjoying it. I love reading your comments and seeing like you guys see yourself and like OMG, like this a name is similar to my name. Oh, she likes what I like, or she does what I do. She dressed the way I want to dress, or whatever it may be. Like I'm just happy you guys connect with the with my character so much, because that's what I really wanted to do. Because I know how it feels like as a reader to read something and not, even though this plot is amazing, the characters you can't relate because that's not you, that's not your culture, that's that's not you, that's not your story. So even though of course werewolves are fake, so even though like it's a fiction paranormal book, you can still read it and feel connected and still feel like okay, like like you're in this world, like you're in it. So that's what I appreciate. Like I appreciate your comments, the love and support you guys have shown me. Just cheer me on too, because I'm not gonna lie, writing this book was not easy at all. I was pushing myself so hard, and the research and things like that I had to put in. I'm gonna go into details about the research and about the world of my werewolf world that I'm creating, basically. I will go into details with that in another video. This is just an origin story of how it first came. The next story, I'm going to talk about how I came up with the new origin story, the new, like, the remake, basically, how I came up with that, how I took something that was like basically trash. I just explained it to you. You could see that it was trash and not as black as I wanted it to be. My heart was in it, but my head wasn't. Well, no, my head was in it, but my heart wasn't. I should say, like, my head was like, we gonna make this black. Okay, we gonna do this. Okay, we gonna, da da da. And then my heart, I was going through some stuff, some self stuff. Okay, so it did not reflect in what I wanted to do. But yeah, so in the next video, I'm gonna go into detail about the story, this new story, like now. Okay, I already told you the past, now it's the present. So I'm gonna talk about that. And yeah, so basically the changes that I've made, plots, the new characters, the packs, the origin stories of the packs, and my research. That's going to be another video too, just the research and all that, because I know I've been getting a lot of questions about the research, the culture, and all that. So I'm going to explain that, and that'll be it. So thanks for listening. Thanks for keeping up with me and my fast talking and all that. I hope you enjoyed it. I like, because I talk a lot, and I'm not going to be typing all of this. Like, it'll just be too much. I need a break from typing in general because of work, and then work on the other book. So I hope you enjoyed this format. Leave any questions, comments that you have. If you want me to shout you out, I will. And have a great day, and I miss you guys so much. I hope you guys are doing well, and bye.